Today we're going to talk about how you can stop overeating. If you have PCOS, there are physical, psychological, and environmental reasons why you might be compelled to overeat. And we're going to try to address those aspects in 5 simple steps so you can just move forward with your life with the confidence that you have the tools to stop eating before you are too full. Now, the first thing I want you to do is acknowledge that overeating is not just about willpower. There are hormonal factors that are at play when you have PCOS that mess up your appetite. I have a whole video on that you can check out, and I'll link to it here. There's also psychological reasons why you might be more prone to overeating, and then there might be environmental reasons. And when I say environmental, I mean just basically the world around you is set up in such a way that it's compelling you to eat more than you need to. All right, so let's first start with something that I don't think is talked about a lot, which is the environmental or behavioral aspects of how you eat and how that might be causing you to overeat. Now, no matter what you're choosing to eat, whether it's healthy or less healthy, you need to eat it at a slower pace. Everyone does. And that's because our brains do not catch up with our bodies fast enough to tell us that we are full if we are eating too fast. In fact, your brain and your body connection is the best way for you to cut back on calories. It is more accurate than counting calories itself. So here's how you can get this started, this habit of connecting your mind and body into when you're eating. Take a bite of your food, put the fork down, chew and swallow, and try not to put any more food into your mouth until you've swallowed that first bite. Sounds simple, but give it a shot. You'll be surprised how often you're putting maybe 1, 2, or 3 bites of food in your mouth before you even swallow. And at that point, your brain's gonna have a really hard time regulating your appetite. All right, so step number 2 is physical activity. Even if it's not a formal workout routine, it's very clear that physical activity can improve the hormonal factors that are involved in appetite regulation. And when I say hormonal, I should actually say biochemical. There are neurotransmitters like neuropeptide YY. There are neurochemicals like serotonin, and there are hormones like cortisol and insulin that all work together in concert to make sure your body knows when it should stop eating. And all of those hormones are functioning better, and those neurochemicals function better in your body when you get regular physical activity. So if you're getting a regular moderate amount of physical activity, you should see or notice more regulated appetite. The next one is it's more of addressing your psychological needs, and that's to have a plan for how you're going to deal with anxiety, stress, and fatigue. So stress, anxiety, and fatigue are the number 1 reasons why you would eat when you're not hungry. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that when we're experiencing a difficult situation, we tend to just keep chugging away at it, to keep pushing ahead instead of stepping back and taking a break. We don't give ourselves permission to take breaks or to go have fun when we're right in the middle of maybe like a really important or intense time in our life. And the trouble with that is that your body will subconsciously find a way for you to disconnect from that difficult emotion or activity by telling you that you're hungry. You will find yourself eating more often as a way to avoid a difficult emotion or a difficult situation or a difficult person. So it's better to just have plans for how you're going to deal with difficult situations instead of just waiting until you finally kind of crack and you go into your kitchen almost on autopilot and just start eating. And the final thing that I want to stress with you is just having a well-rounded diet. And this doesn't have to be fancy. Just every time you sit down for a meal, you should have some combination of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Even if you're eating something that isn't like PCOS perfect, you can still find a combination of some fats, some carbohydrates, and proteins. And that is going to make you feel more satiated. It's going to help you balance your blood sugars, which is important when you have PCOS. And it's also going to have an effect on other hormones and chemicals in your body that would influence you to overeat. Now, I don't have time in this video to get into the exact guidelines for making like your ideal PCOS plate at every meal, but I do have a free guide that you can download. Check out the description below, and it'll give you some really simple, non-complicated tips on how to start eating with the foods you already have in your kitchen, some more PCOS-friendly, balanced meals, so that maybe you will satiate that urge to overeat before it even occurs. Okay, so remember, overeating isn't just about willpower. It's about what's going on around you, what's on your plate, what's inside your head, and what's going on with your hormones and neurochemicals. So do not be so hard on yourself as if this is something that you struggle with. Just take these simple actions as a way of getting a step or two closer to balance.